A&M searching for a new head coach in wake of Bud Williams leaving for Maryland. The top candidate, Ole Miss's Chris Beard, but according to ESPN's Pete Thamel, Beard has informed the school that he's staying in Oxford. The Astros, well, they got swept in their series against the Giants, falling 6-3, while the Texas Rangers took the rubber game against the Cincinnati Reds 1-0.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That goal is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, gang?
Can't stop me now. Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate y'all riding through, however y'all may be joining me. Whether that's on 94.1 on your FM dial, if you happen to be locked in at sasportstar.com, listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're watching on YouTube. That's right, we stream all of our shows live on YouTube, The Morning Huddle, The Blitz, and Extra Innings with Pledger. Just go to YouTube, search SA Sports Star, go ahead, like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show. Fred Villarreal already up in the bullpen, or, of course, you can always reach me the old-fashioned way, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 if you want to be a part of the conversation. And, man, lots to get into, and you heard about it in the Sports Center update. You could take Chris Beard off the list for Texas A&M as he has informed the school that he will be staying at Ole Miss. Where does that leave Texas A&M? What about Buzz Williams' departure and what's next? Well, the guys on the Morning Huddle, AJ and Rob, were talking about it, and Rob eventually talked about Beard, and it sounded like he wanted nothing to do with him, and that's coming from a dyed-in-the-wool Aggie, and that makes sense. But the fact that it was very out there that they were after him is wild to me. But we'll get into some of the candidates. But I mean, it's just wild that Buzz Williams decided to just up and leave Texas A&M for what seems like lateral, maybe even step down with Maryland.
The Fighting Aggies of Texas A&M lost their coach yesterday to Maryland. Buzz Williams, the buzz was that he was looking at the Maryland job, and I said, once you go out and like it became obvious that Buzz was the one pursuing that job. And once that happened, I said, you can't come back. Like Buzz can't come back and be like, well, I tried to get the Maryland job. It didn't work out. So I'll just stay here.
Happy
at Texas
to be here,
A&M.
Glad to see you guys today.
I think Buzz is one of these guys who he wants a place where basketball feels more of a priority than Texas A&M. And you said this, Rob, and it really kind of struck me. It doesn't seem like any Aggie is all worked up about it. They're just like, well, whatever, man. I mean, and what's wild is I think Buzz Williams is probably one of like the 20, 25 best basketball coaches in the country, like college basketball coach. I really think he is great. I think there are limits to how there are limits that don't include national championships in my mind, but there's a lot of good coaches who are probably never going to win national titles. I think he's in that conversation. But the fact that Aggies aren't broken up about losing Buzz and Buzz isn't broken up about leaving may say more about A&M basketball as a program than what it says. Because A&M's, what were they, a 3 seed?
Seed. They beat a number 1 team for the first time in the history of their program.
You would think there'd be excitement around the program, and there's just not.
Because this is the same thing, and I told you this before he got let go, but as we were coming into the tournament, while they did beat a number 1, they've won some big games in the past, but there was a sense around the program that you're going to have to take the next step. You're going to have to go a little bit further than this. This is nice. Sweet 16s, and you've done everything that anybody's ever asked of you to this point. But now, after this length of time and given the resources that have been available to you, maybe we should expect, if not more wins, maybe some more star power. Maybe you're getting the 5-star where you're not getting those guys. And this is where it gets ironic, because Buzz Williams and Shaka both came from the same region. Now, Buzz coached at A&M and left and then came back he was an assistant and then came back. So there were some ties at A&M. But where they both came from, the Maryland, Virginia, Tidewater region, is a very specific style of basketball. And it's funny how both schools chose that style, which is a very successful one that doesn't necessarily require the 5 stars. Well, we were perfectly happy with what Buzz was doing to a point where we started to want, hey, man, let's get a showboat. Let's get somebody that's worth hanging some pride around. And he brought in exactly one star. You know, he had some transfers that he brought with him from Virginia Tech. But the guys he brought in, one guy, he brought a 5-star named Obaseki.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And, and he never panned out. He was probably the worst 5-star of the crew 5 stars of his graduation class. So the expectation was grow the program, do something else. Shaka brought in the 5 stars, but he couldn't win. The outcome was essentially the same. I bet the records were pretty damn close.
Yeah.
As far as the output. Shaka left for an entirely different reason other than Buzz. But the way that they coached was the same at A&M. Shaka left because he kept having to go get guys that, quite frankly, he could not coach to do the things he wanted to do. Buzz didn't go get those guys, and he did get to do exactly what he wanted to do, and it wasn't enough. And we got a little bored with it. That's it. Fare thee well, as I was saying. Go with God. We're not mad at you. Hope you're not mad at us, but it's time had come.
Yeah, and you mentioned the new AD maybe playing a big role in this.
That's the thing that I got a call yesterday. He goes, dude, do you not remember that we have an athletic director that came from Nebraska that
he
was not here when Buzz was here, who had his own say there? So it was just a matter of time. Now, with Trev, you wonder where he'll be looking. I do know this. He worked with Fred Hoiberg there in Nebraska. Fred had a great run at Iowa State before he decided to go to the pros, and he was like, Saban didn't work. It was an abject failure in Chicago. They ran him out. And he's building the Nebraska program back, but the numbers will not jump off the page at you. And that's just my drawing a line to a coach that I do indeed respect. Is there any connection there? I doubt it, but I do know that he's had some success in the past in the right situation. But I'll say this as an Aggie basketball fan. Go get somebody who has a plan, who is very, very immersed in the modern basketball game, which is transfer portal, one and dones, getting them and going them, a system that can be picked up on in a year, and understanding the value of what the portal can do while understanding what roots need to be built with long-term players. And by long-term, I'm talking maybe 3 years, but you have to do both. And I think if you can find a guy with a plan toward that, I don't care who he's coming from.
It's very difficult. And as news broke this afternoon, Chris Beard's informed the school he will be staying at Ole Miss, taking his name out of the A&M bucket. And he seemingly was the guy that they were chasing. That was the one that they had put their eggs into the basket of. So now where do they swerve to? And, I was talking with my buddy Jack Thompson, noted Aggie basketball guy, just trying to kick around names of people that I think maybe they would go after. And Hoiberg, like Rob said, that was one of the names I brought up the other day, just because the ties of Trev Albert, the former AD, now coming down here and being able to put a stamp on it. Olsberger at Iowa State, I think, would be a name worthy of chasing if you're Texas A&M. Would they go small school guy like the coach at High Point, Alan Huss? Like High Point made it into the tournament, look good. Do you try and get that small school guy and bring him up a level, or are you poaching big game? I mean, you went after Chris Beard and failed. Do you continue to try and poach big game? Maybe Grant McCaslin, the head coach at Texas Tech, is that a guy that you could potentially go after? Chris Johns, the Mississippi State head coach, is another one that I think has potential. Do you go after a Brad Underwood at Illinois and see if you can lure him away? But Gilbert P says he hadn't heard any of his Aggie buddies care at all about the leaving of Buzz Williams or excitement about a new head coach. And you look at it, I mean, the coaches trying to get out of A&M. You look at Sloss going to Texas. You look at Buzz going up to Maryland. You look at Aggie fans just not thrilled about Mike Elko and what he's done to this point. And part of it is, do you got to give some of these guys more than 30 minutes on campus? Let them install their culture. Let them install their offense and defense and get their recruits in and give them 2 to 3 years to kind of get things turned around? Or do you expect it immediately because of the transfer portal now? Fred Villarreal says, proves A&M's not a basketball school. Head baseball coach change was a different story, and now it's gone to a meltdown. Look, expectations are high, and the transfer portal has only made them higher when you have the resources, the facilities, the money, and the fan base out of Texas A&M. Like, all of those things are through the roof, and they should be through the roof because they are paying top dollar for coaches. They are paying top dollars for NIL. They are paying top dollar for facilities. And they are in the transfer portal. So is it right to be able to expect instantaneous turnaround from their coaches? It's very interesting to kind of see how that all plays out and where they eventually end up when it comes to their next head basketball coach. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 941 FM, sasportstar.com. Coming up next, did Jerry Jones' mouth get him in hot water? It's a definite possibility. When doesn't it? We'll discuss next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic on Monday, April 14th at the Golf Club of Texas is officially sold out. But you can still join us at the Hangar Bar and Grill on Potranco for the ultimate after party. Celebrate with cold drinks, great food, and good times. The sold-out San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by NSierra.com and PPL Motorhomes benefits the Pan American Golf Association.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hola, mi esposo se lastimó en un accidente ayer. ¿Me puede ayudar?
Claro que sí. Estamos aquí para servirle.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7. Our team of Texas attorneys has been helping people injured in car, truck, or 18-wheeler wrecks for more than 25 years. And there's no fee unless we win. Y hablamos español. If you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Hey, listen up, San Antonio. Many of the successes you've had began with a great opportunity. Now, here's another one. Get started on your degree or certificate in San Antonio. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs, faster onboarding, and more from University of Maryland Global Campus. Get personalized local support services and take online or hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Have you heard? Kohl's has 2 exclusive new home brands, Miriana and Mingle & Co. From luxe favorites that are all about turning your space into a sanctuary to fun mix and match dining essentials, there's so much to discover. And trust me, you're gonna love everything. Plus, you can get an extra 20% off throughout the store during our Friends and Family sale. So hurry to Kohl's today and bring it all home for less. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offer ends April 6th. See store at Kohls.com for details.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Brett Kitchen, best-selling author and executive producer of the award-winning documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who've retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and the money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money saved, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new film at 1-800-689-4242. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. So don't delay. Call right now, 1-800-689-4242. That's 1-800-689-4242. Again, 1-800-689-4242.
Springtime is here and baseball season is finally underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs, you can take your pick of more or less for your shot of 1,000 times your money cash today. I'll say it again. That's today, because on Prize Picks, you can match your player projections from different sports. Combine your favorite baseball players with your favorite basketball players. Maybe it's hockey. Maybe it's esports. Maybe it's something else. That's why you download Prize Picks. And what you do with Prize Picks is you win $50 instantly. Go download the app today and use the code ALAMO. That's ALAMO to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. I'll say it again. Download the app right now. Use the code ALAMO. That's $50 instantly. Just play your lineup. Prize Picks. Hey, go run your game. I love Prize Picks because I'm not alone. There's millions of us playing, and you can win. It's easy. More or less. You better go run your game now.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Peter. He loves his motorcycle. What he doesn't love is wind. Which is ironic, because wind is a big part of the whole wind-in-your-face motorcycle cliche. But nobody ever tells you how relentless a strong crosswind is, or the cliche wouldn't exist. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get a quote to see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Carbach Brewing was not born in San Antonio, Texas, but they have certainly gone out of their way to make San Antonio their second home. We had the head brewer come in, and he said when they first started to reach outside of Houston, San Antonio was the place they wanted to be, and does it show. Carbach beer is all over our great city, from their in-your-face flagship IPA, Hopadillo, to the Ziegenbach, to their bestseller, the Love Street, their Kolsch-style blonde. There is something for everyone in Carbach's lineup, and it is all over the place. Of course, you're going to find it at the grocery stores. Of course, you're going to find it at the liquor stores, but it's also at a bunch of bars and restaurants around town. They wanted to make this their second home, and that's what it's become. So when you're out, you're watching the games at your local sports bar, your local restaurant, your local hangout, you're thinking, I want to elevate my beer game a little bit. Well, friend, wherever you're at, they probably have some Carbach either on tap or in cans. So when you're out and about doing your thing, go ahead and make sure to ask your bartender to please make it a Carbach.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Finishing up on our last topic, Frank Mateo says A&M just got little brothered again. He thinks they should hire Rodney Terry. Be the most A&M decision ever. Look, it's been rough on Aggies. And to be fair, it's been rough on Cowboys. And Jerry brings a lot of it on himself with the way that he's handled business. Whether it's getting contracts done, how he's handled free agency, how he's handled his coaching searches, everything and every way he's gone about things. And I'm willing to give Brian Schottenheimer the benefit of the doubt, because if you listen to him, he communicates very effectively. And I've broken down a ton of his interviews, and I think the more you hear of him, the more you'll like Brian Schottenheimer. Now, that can all change with wins and losses on the field and how they look. But time will tell. But once again, Jerry running his mouth the other day might have got him in trouble. The Blitz, Jason and Joe were talking about it earlier today.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The agent is not a factor here or something to worry about. And I don't know his name. And so my point is that I'm not trying to demean him in any way, but this isn't about an agent. The agent doesn't have one thing to do with what we're doing when we get on a football field against a team. Micah does.
You know, Jerry's a smart man. He's been in the league a long time. And he doesn't give a damn if he gets into some hot water. And those comments might get him into some hot water. It is the Blitz. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. See, he might not care about the agent. And players can negotiate directly with an owner. Jerry likes that. Jerry has talked about that before. I'm talking to you directly. I'm writing the check. You're cashing it. Let's get rid of the middleman. Unless, of course, some of the reports we heard yesterday, if a player says, you need to talk to my agent, it's almost like you're being interrogated by the cops and you go, lawyer. They can't say anything, right? Now they can't say anything to you. That's, you know, and they've got to be a NFL certified agent, which David Mulligetta certainly is. And if Micah did, as Dory Epstein reported yesterday, said, hey, you guys need to call David, whether you know his name or not. Here's his number. I'll share the contact with you. However that goes, once he says that, the Cowboys are actually breaking rules of the collective bargaining agreement by trying to negotiate directly with the player.
This is not the first time, obviously, Jerry's done it. Now, he gave some examples of old school guys, right, that he's done that with, and things have changed since then. And I'm trying to find it. I don't know. It was Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, 2019.
That he did. And the Players Union did nothing, right?
That we know of,
right? So I'm not sure if Jerry just thinks he can get away with this, and maybe he can. I mean, because Jerry is the de facto commissioner of the NFL when it comes right down to it. But if Micah has in fact said, look, you got to talk to Mulligetta, then they're obligated to bring him in. And clearly by his tweet yesterday, he wanted them in.
I have the privilege and the opportunity to run the NFL.
Now, David Mulligetta goes to Twitter and tweets out, I agree with Jerry. It's never been about me. Actually, it wasn't on Twitter. It was a text to Pro Football Talk.
Yeah.
Quote, the only person that matters here is Micah. And at the end of the day, our goal is for Micah to be able to do for generations of Parsons what Jerry has done for generations of Joneses.
Genius statement.
Yeah.
By Mulligetta. I mean, he couldn't have said it any better, because you don't piss off Jerry. You keep it about Micah Parsons and everything is fine. And that Mulligetta knows damn good and well he's going to be involved in the negotiations or whatever is left of them. So he handled that perfectly. I think that was a genius statement by David Mulligetta.
Now, some of it, and by all accounts, Micah does like to talk about his personal business with the Joneses, whether it be Stephen or Jerry. Stephen has talked about that for weeks. Micah has talked about how much he appreciated Jerry Jones for putting him in the suite at the Super Bowl and how much they talked. And Jerry's not going to say that he talked to Micah for 5-6 hours if they didn't, because Micah could easily say that didn't happen. And Micah didn't. But he did say, I'm not doing a deal without David Mulligetta involved. I hired the best for a reason. It almost feels like there's more drama here than needs to be.
Uh-huh.
You know, a real life example. Lady that we work with has a 9-year-old daughter. And the 9-year-old daughter has a friend who spent the night. And the 9-year-old's friend went home with a shirt that belonged to the daughter. Did you steal my shirt? No. And there's all this drama. Dude, it's a shirt. You either took it, now you're lying, so I don't know if I can trust you, or somehow you had the same shirt for years, even though, there might be my initial in the tag, but whatever, right? There's more drama than needs to be over a damn shirt. There's more drama in this than there needs to be between Micah, Jerry Jones, and David Mulugheta on getting this contract done. There doesn't need to be this much drama.
Well, it doesn't. And, Jerry says some things, and I don't know if he intended to say that for a reason. And typically I would say yes. But why he said that and then claimed not to know Mulugheta, that was just dumb, because he knows who David Mulugheta is. He has to. He does. And so that was dumb on his part, regardless of what he was trying to do and how he was trying to, work things and get other things done. But now he's going to have to. This is out. Mulugheta's going to have to be involved in this. There's no way that Parsons and Jerry are going to work this out themselves.
And there's no way that this ultimate deal doesn't get done. Now, Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network, was talking on the network about, do these comments have any impact on the extension timeline?
It's never quiet. It's plenty of noise. Now, I don't know that this will actually affect negotiations. David Mulugheta is going to try to get the most money, the best deal for his client, no matter what. No doubt Micah Parsons is going to be the highest paid non-quarterback when he is done. But, the fact that Jerry Jones said, I don't even know who his agent is, I don't even know the name. It's one of the most well-known agents in the NFL. It was just an interesting tactic early on, especially since they haven't really dug in. What's fascinating to me is that Jerry Jones says he wants more information. Well, Micah Parsons does too. Micah Parsons, to my understanding, would like to see some of the other top edge rushers get paid. TJ Watt, Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons likely to come in last. Well, if Jerry Jones wants to wait and get more info, and if Micah Parsons wants to wait and get more info, then we're all going to wait and get more info until there's no more info to get right up against the start of the season, which, Tom, this might seem familiar to you, because the last two massive deals the Cowboys did were right up against it, including Dak Prescott's deal right before kickoff. I don't know if it's going to be that dramatic for Micah Parsons, but we are a ways away.
A ways away from getting a deal done.
Now, if Ian Rappaport is hearing that Micah wants to see some of those other guys get paid, all right, because we thought all the other guys that we needed to get paid, is TJ Watt going to pass what we've already seen, Jamar Chase? I
don't think so.
I don't think so either. It feels like the deck has been cleared, but was Jerry actually telling us yesterday and being accurate, now that you hear that and do a little bit more digging, when he said that he wants to see more cards played? I was wondering, does that mean other guys that you want to bring in? Trade options, maybe that could mean anything. But if Micah's saying, well, I want to wait for these to get done, well, Jerry's trying to make it look like it's him. I don't mind waiting, and if it costs me more, I'd rather do it right. But what other cards are left to be played this year? Now, if he would have done this contract last year about this time, it would have been, 33, 34, 35 million, give or take, right? Now we're starting at the fours, even though Mike has said he doesn't have to be the highest paid, but now you're starting at the fours. So waiting has already cost Jerry at least $5 million a year, right? At least. You're going to wait longer and make that number continue to go up? Make that make sense.
Well, I think Jerry's pretty safe. I don't see anybody else out there. Even there's a report out today that Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals is all upset with with one of the suits up in the Cincinnati administration, and obviously he's not getting what he wants. He's not going to be paid that, whether it's with Cincinnati or somebody else. I like that guy. He's a good football player, but I don't see anybody paying him north of $40 million a year. So I don't see anybody else out there, quite frankly, that Pledge put up Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not sure where he is on his contract status, but that could be a possibility. But again, it's timing, and I don't know when that would take place.
Well, and that's the thing too. You look at Aiden Hutchinson; he's a year after Micah Parsons, so a year behind, but he's able to get his now. And if you look at the Lions, they get their deals done early. They did it with Sewell. They did it with Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've done it with Jared Goff. They've paid everybody that they need to pay from their young core as early as possible to get the biggest amount of savings on the long term of that contract and then worry about it in the future. Jerry, if he waits on Aiden will likely probably be one of the highest paid players on the defensive side of the football. And look, nobody saw Myles Garrett resetting the market the way he did. Is it out of the question to think that TJ Watt can't do the exact same thing, being the same type of player? Multiple time defensive player of the year. Obviously, always at the top of the league in sacks, always in the top 5 of defensive player of the year voting. It's not out of the realm of possibility to think that TJ Watt's going to come from behind Myles Garrett, reset that market, and it's only going to raise that floor for Micah Parsons. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 941 FM, sasportsstar.com. When we come back, Valero, Texas opens tomorrow, and you can join the guys out at the VTO. That's right. Morning Huddle will be there from 6 to 10, and the Blitz will be there from 2 to 6. Well, this morning on the Morning Huddle, golf reporter Will Doctor was in studio with the guys to talk a little bit about what to expect at this year's primer for the Masters. We'll get into that coming up next here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
George gets justice. The accident wasn't your fault, but now you're facing pain, bills, and uncertainty. You don't have to do it alone. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, they listen, explain your options, and fight for what you deserve. No upfront costs, no stress, just real help when you need it. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Jason Minix here from the Blitz. That's exactly what I did. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit orchard.com to get your free home evaluation. That's orchard.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Made in America, highest quality. That's Kinetico Quality Water Softeners. There's a reason Dave Ramsey says a Kinetico is a wise investment for your home.
Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy.
So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it.
It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country. 210-656-PURE.
Check them out at ConnecticutSA.com and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
License number 38961.
ConnecticutSA.com.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Rox Discount Vitamins and More wants to thank God and San Antonio for making Rox the king of supplements. Are you losing weight, building muscle, or just getting healthy? Rox has you covered. Weight loss and muscle building packages starting at just $75. Plus, get a free in-body scan in 15 seconds with the In-Body 270 analysis. Start tracking your results today. The pros at Rox know their products, how they work, and what's best for your health and fitness goals. Call 210-342-7625 or visit RoxDiscountVitamins.com.
This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me. It is a good time in Texas, not only in San Antonio, Texas. Not only is it the Final Four, but it is also the Valero Texas Open this week. And with that means that we get to throw an even bigger party. And we are really good at throwing parties here in San Antonio. So, our media friends are in from all over, whether it's Houston, wherever, for the Final Four. But it also means that our friends are in town covering the Valero Texas Open, the primer to the Masters, which begins next Thursday. And one of those reporters in town for the Masters, well, friend of the show, the Morning Huddle, Will Doctor, joined to let us know who are the favorites, what to expect, and who should we be looking out for this week at the VTO.
We got a special guest in studio. Made the drive in. He's covering the Valero Texas Open this week. This guy, I always call him he's the Rain Man of golf. He knows everything there is to know about these tournaments before they happen, which I decided one day, wow, I should start asking him who to bet on. And
well, for those that like winning,
and our relationship has taken off since then. I tell you what, a blossoming star in the golf media business. Will Doctor is our guest. Will, how you doing, bud?
Thanks, AJ. Doing well. Great to be in San Antonio.
I got a question for you. Well, I said, what's your schedule like? You're going to hit 12 tours. What's the perception of the tour players of the Valero? I mean, when they're whispering about whether they're going to play and they got to play in X amount, and we're right before the Masters. What's the thought of the Open? What do they think about? What do they talk about when they're coming to play? Just as a pat us on the back kind of thing.
The Oaks course at TPC San Antonio is great preparation for the Masters. The way that they set this golf course up, and you could make a similar case for Memorial Park last week in Houston. But the bottom line is, off the tee, the Oaks course at TPC San Antonio really tightens up more than last week, and that is very similar to Augusta. You got to hit a lot of fairways and position yourself well at Augusta next week. And then around the greens, it is an excellent test.
I'd heard the greens were they attempted over the years to really kind of mimic what was going on in Augusta, just try to help the pros on their way up.
100%, Rob. You're exactly right. It's firm around the greens. There is an overseed aspect to the Oaks course, which makes the ball set up a little bit better around the greens. But as far as the way the greens are portioned off, you got to hit your spots on the greens. That is very similar to what you see at Augusta. Now, some players like to take 2 weeks off before Augusta. Some players like to get it going the week before. You've got some, Patrick Cantlay, he's 33 years old. He's only making his fifth career start in Texas this week. And I think it is because, he hasn't played that well at the Masters the last 3 years. I think Cantlay wants a little bit of a better prep rather than taking 3 weeks off before the tournament.
So Houston and San Antonio are always the two that lead up to the Masters.
Oh, not
right?
always. We've bounced the VTL's bounced around. We've been earlier in the fall, later in the fall.
Okay.
They've moved over the years. Now, recently, very much right now.
Yeah. So what is shaken up the fields in the 2 weeks going into the Masters is that the Houston Open for about 4 years was moved to the fall. And once upon a time, about 10 years ago, the Shell Houston Open, what it was called then, had the week before the Masters. Golf Club of Houston was another course that resembled fairly well to Augusta. But Houston has moved back to 2 weeks before the Masters. Certain players like that golf course. But the Valero, at the Oaks course still, to me, reigns supreme as far as best prep for the Masters.
Okay, so before we get into the field, no Scotty, no Rory, no John Rahm, no Bryson, no Brooks, no Justin Thomas, no Hovland. A lot of these, the favorites for next weekend have decided we'll take the rest.
They're not playing.
Right.
Yeah, they're not playing. You had Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy play in Houston last week. They thought Memorial Park was a good run up to Augusta. A lot of guys like to get to the Masters 2 weeks early and get as many practice rounds, as much prep in as possible. The week of the Masters can be a little congested as far as media obligations and all that. Getting an extra week in Augusta is better for some guys. I would not say the field necessarily represents how the overall PGA Tour feels about this golf course, though. I think there is a lot of film.
It's just a matter of timing.
Correct.
Right.
All right. Well, let's talk about the guys that are here. And the favorite is Ludwig Oberg, who's been a guy with a big up arrow next to his name the last couple of years. What do we like about his game, and what do we think about him as the favorite in this event?
Yeah, he won his second PGA Tour title earlier this year at Torrey Pines. That was the goal, I think, for him going into Augusta. Could he get PGA Tour win number 2 before he got to the Masters? And I do have Ludwig Oberg next week, a ticket from December, 14-1 to win. I think, he finished runner-up there last year. He was very solid around the time he was playing 3 weeks ago at Torrey Pines. Since then, in 2 starts since that win, 22nd at Bay Hill, miscut at the Players. He has not hit his irons well the last 2 events. He has not chipped it around the greens particularly well his last 2 events. 12-1 to me is the wrong number for Oberg this week. I was looking for more around 24-1. I'm a pass on the top ranked player in the field.
So you are you're already wishing you didn't have 14-1 in your pocket.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
That's a bummer
because he hasn't played well in two events since. In fact, around that win, he in his last 4 events, he went 42nd withdrawal, win, 22nd miscut. So around that win, really
feels like the win might be the outlier.
100%.
Unless he plays really well here, you're probably looking to find a way to fade him next week. Is the guess?
Yeah, if he can get his irons together, AJ, which is the main key for Augusta next week, that approach, that second shot. Oberg's hitting it plenty well off the tee to where if he finds some mojo with the irons, I still like him at Augusta. My thought here, Oberg has an afternoon tee time on Thursday. You could get the Texas winds come in, 35-mile-per-hour gust. He shoots even par, 1 over in the first round. You're going to get a better live number than 12-1.
Interesting. Now, names that aren't there, we've talked about names that are here. Fowler and Burns, Fleetwood go off early on Thursday. Tell us what your thoughts about the first off early names that we know of.
Okay, so Sam Burns, the number 1 in that group, he has not been hitting his irons well over the last 3-4 events. Once again, second shot, major key this week and next week. I'm a pass on Burns. Ricky Fowler. He's popped up in opening rounds here over, these last 3 events. I don't particularly mind Ricky to top 10 after round 1. We'd have to get the number on that. But overall, so far this year, has Ricky Fowler played better? Yes. Has he been putting 4 rounds together where he's finishing, top 10 at the end of the week? No.
Well, Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood is interesting. Here's, and once again, I don't want to be disrespectful at all towards Fleetwood. He has been a top 20 machine over his last 12 events, playing incredibly consistent. My issue with Fleetwood is he's 18-1 this week. He's opened 18-1. You can find that on Bovada. You have, Fleetwood's never won a PGA Tour event, and you have players in this field. Hideki Matsuyama at 22-1, who, not playing well this week. I'm passing on Hideki, but he's an 10-time PGA Tour winner who has a green jacket, and you're telling me has played well here in San Antonio over the years, and you're telling me that Hideki's 22-1 and Fleetwood's 18-1, and you have other ones. I mean, Keegan Bradley has won more than Tommy Fleetwood. Akshay Bhatia has won more than Keegan Bradley.
Tony Finau is pretty good ways down the list.
Tony Finau, Patrick Cantlay, Corey Connors. Now he is priced, better than Fleetwood. But bottom line here, I think Fleetwood is overpriced once again this week at 18-1 for being a guy that has never won a PGA Tour event.
That was Will Doctor, or PGA Tour Insider, here in town for the Valero Texas Open. You can catch that full interview in the audio vault at sasportstar.com. When we come back, Mike Gundy may have had one of the most brilliant ideas regarding spring football and getting ready for the season now that spring games are going away. And it's hard to disagree with anything that he said. We'll bring it to you next, right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic on Monday, April 14th at the Golf Club of Texas is officially sold out. But you can still join us at the Hangar Bar and Grill on Potranco for the ultimate after party. Celebrate with cold drinks, great food, and good times. The sold-out San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic, presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by Ensira.com and PPL Motorhomes, benefits the Pan American Golf Association.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness Program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
You want to add more excitement watching games? Make sure you download the Underdog app. Jason Minix here. Baseball is back, and you can make opening day and every other game day more exciting with Underdog. Play the pick'em game where you choose whether a player will go higher or lower on their stats. So download the Underdog app. Sign up now using the promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code STAR. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Peter. He loves his motorcycle. What he doesn't love is wind. Which is ironic because wind is a big part of the whole wind in your face motorcycle cliche. But nobody ever tells you how relentless a strong crosswind is, or the cliche wouldn't exist. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get a quote to see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in DC.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, huh?
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Amazing deals are happening now during SpringFest at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And get 5 bags of Stay Green Premium Color 2 cubic foot mulch for just $10. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items. Excludes Hawaii. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
What if you could build a 6-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a 6-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Brett Kitchen, best-selling author and executive producer of the award-winning documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who've retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and the money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money saved, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new film at 1-800-689-4242. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. So don't delay. Call right now, 1-800-689-4242. That's 1-800-689-4242. Again, 1-800-689-4242.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate everybody for rolling through tonight as we take you up to 7 o'clock with Amber and Ian. And then Game Night San Antonio right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. And if you haven't heard, our golf tournament is sold out. That is right. If you missed the boat, you missed the boat. I'm sorry, but you can still join us for the after party out at the Hangar Bar out there on Petrenko. The Blitz will be broadcasting for 2 to 6. And of course, they'll have prizes and all that great stuff out there. So go on out to the Hangar Bar. Of course, the San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Tournament benefiting the Pan American Golf Association is presented by Flight by Yingling. They are the next generation in light beer. It is also sponsored in part by PPL Motorhomes and Ancira. Mike Gundy had a fantastic idea, especially with all these spring games going away and everything. The fact that their series, because OU going to the SEC with OU is now kind of their rivalry has been taken away. Do like they do in the NFL. Spring practice. Do a spring practice against another team. A joint practice where you thud, it doesn't go all the way to the ground. You sell tickets to it. You could sell out the stadiums and then use that money to fund the NILs of the two schools. I mean, it is a brilliant idea, and I do not see why teams wouldn't be behind this. Dion's already trying to do it, and this was before the NIL deal, but now funding your NIL collectives, it just makes sense. Imagine if UTSA was able to do a game against Texas State or UIW for that matter and do the same thing, sell tickets, the gate, split, NIL money, it would do wonders. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Thanks for joining me. Remember, call, check on the ones that you love. You never know what people are going through in life. And a simple, hey, how you doing, can do a lot more than you think. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We'll see you tomorrow.
94.1 San Antonio
Springtime
Sports
is
Star.
here and baseball season is finally underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond to your prize picks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs, you can take your pick of more or less for your shot of 1,000 times your money cash today. I'll say it again. That's today, because on prize picks, you can match your player projections